RV Sparky asks a question that I've gotten a lot over the years. As a builder of sets and props in which you have given great care to detail, how much does it hurt when such things are destroyed, blown up, or other upon filming? Well, the answer is it's not, there's no sadness at all. If it's getting destroyed for filming, you built it for that purpose. I'll give you an example. Some of the pod racers that blew up in the episode 1, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, all the pod race crashes were practical. And the explosions were were almost entirely practical, if I remember correctly, specifically because it's really hard to do those particle physics at such speed and scale. And the pyrotechnicians like, the Heron brothers here in Northern California and the incredible teams that do this in LA, the wonderful pyrotechnicians I've worked with, they're experts at this, at making stuff look like it's blowing up. So they bring the fire, and the model maker brings what it looks like when it blows up. So to tell you, when they were making the pod racers to explode for episode 1, they were taking a model, making a slush cast of it, and then painting the inside. They're using a resin that's got a specific color so that when it blows up, you don't see white resin. Then they're filling it with like metal chunks and particles so that in the explosion, there's lots of stuff going. And when they film that at high speed, and then you do the shot out on the slab out there off of Kerner Boulevard, where they did all the Pirates of the Caribbean explosions, and I mean countless Transformer movie explosions. When you get to watch that shot that was filmed in high speed, you get to see it slowed down, and you get to see your model making work and your ingenuity and the chunks flying. That is pure joy. There's no, wow, I spent 3 weeks painting that thing and they just blew it up. It's, I spent 3 weeks making something look fantastic when it blew up. And now that it blew up and it looks fantastic, I did my job. Yeah. Full stop. Each thing that happens in a film is purpose built for it. I mean, look, the one caveat I'll give is a lot of times at the end of production, a lot of sets and props are just destroyed. And that is a shame. There's a reason for that, which is a film is a film is effectively a company that was formed to make that film. And the producer who starts that company, or the producers that start that company to make that film, once the film is done, they want to wrap that company. They don't want any carried costs forward. They don't want to have a storage space full of costumes or props. And I understand that from a business perspective. That makes sense. If you were doing that as a producer, you'd have this long tail of the hundreds and thousands of objects that you've got to keep track of. As a producer, you're moving on to the next project. I understand that. At the same time, Hollywood has always eaten its young. You know, Debbie Reynolds famously was one of the earliest proponents of gathering together these costumes and props because they're so important. And now finally, the Academy is opening a museum in LA, and I'm really glad that they're doing it. It is time for the film industry to celebrate itself and the ingenuity of it instead of letting it go to private collections all over the world where it doesn't get seen again. Dahmer Nation 1 says, do you have a why didn't I think of that moment while watching others build? I always do. I have tons of those, and it's really like that's why I watch YouTube videos of people building stuff. I've recently been watching watch repair and watch restoration videos. Those are really thrilling. But that is precisely why I watch other people building stuff as a practice. Even the way people pace themselves through builds is really instructive to me. The way they talk through how they understand the objects that they're working with. But my favorite, why didn't I think of that? And I think I've talked about this before. My favorite recent, why didn't I think of that, is Ted Woodford's practice of, he frequently has to attach jigs. Ted Woodford is a luthier who has a YouTube channel, Twofford. We will link to it below. And, he is always he's working on guitars, and sometimes other instruments. But when he's working on a guitar, doing something like a neck reset, where a neck has broken, and he's got to route out some little channels for strengthening struts within there, he frequently puts masking tape on the guitar and then masking tape on his jig, and then he crazy glues the two together. And the masking tape provides this barrier so the thing can be removed, but it is an incredibly solid way to hold two things together that you could not clamp or hold in any other way. And honestly, that one technique just like widened my whole mind about the art of the possible when doing that. Funnily enough, I've still not found a need for that technique yet in a build I've done, but I'm excited, sitting here excitedly, like on the bench. Send me in, coach. It's ready. The next time I encounter this kind of thing where I've got to do like a careful route on a delicate object, I am going to unleash this, because it's a beautiful technique. It is, yeah. I really love that. And I don't know if Ted learned that from some other luthier or if it's his own technique, but yeah, I totally can't wait. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.